the American heartland is burning. From horizon to horizon, flames race across the open plains, consuming everything in their path. The vast grasslands, once golden and serene, are now transformed into a landscape of chaos and destruction. The sky is choked with smoke, turning day into night and casting an eerie orange glow over the land. The relentless advance of fire across these open farmlands is both mesmerizing and terrifying. Flames leap and dance, driven by fierce winds, devouring dry grass and crops in mere moments. The land, so vital to America's food supply, is left blackened and barren in the fire's wake. The aftermath is a haunting sight. Miles of scorched earth, the once lush prairie now reduced to ash, in smoldering remains. Smoke billows into the sky, visible for miles, a stark reminder of nature's raw power and the vulnerability of rural communities. Across Oklahoma and Kansas, the Ranger Road fire, a megafire of unprecedented scale, has left a permanent scar on the land and its people. Entire communities have been upended, homes and livelihoods lost in a matter of hours. The landscape is forever changed, and the emotional toll is immeasurable. Fueled by relentless winds and a punishing drought, this inferno moves with terrifying speed, devouring everything in its path. The fire's hunger is insatiable, turning blue skies apocalyptic and leaving little time for escape. Residents watch helplessly as the flames approach, forced to make split-second decisions that will shape their futures. Communities are scattered, and firefighters face unimaginable danger as they battle a disaster of historic proportions. These men and women work around the clock, risking their lives to protect homes, farms, and families. Their courage is matched only by the scale of the challenge before them. For those living in its shadow, the reality is immediate. Thick, choking smoke fills the air, the horizon glows with an ominous orange, and the haunting roar of flames echoes through the night. Every moment is filled with uncertainty as families gather what they can and prepare to flee at a moment's notice. This is not a typical wildfire, it's a prairie fire, supercharged by unprecedented weather patterns and a changing climate. The speed and intensity of these fires are unlike anything seen before, forcing a reckoning with how we prepare for and respond to natural disasters in the heartland. As of February 19th, the fire's destructive march continues, its story still being written in smoke and ash. Each day brings new challenges, as exhausted crews fight to contain the flames and residents hope for relief. The scars left behind will take years to heal, both on the land and in the hearts of those affected. For families and firefighters, this is more than a headline, it's a life forever changed. The memories of loss and resilience will linger long after the last ember fades, a testament to the enduring spirit of the plains and the people who call it home. Every disaster has a beginning. Sometimes it's a moment so small, so seemingly insignificant, that it's almost invisible. A single spark, a gust of wind, a patch of parched earth. But in the right conditions, these tiny triggers can unleash forces of unimaginable scale and fury. For the Ranger Road fire, that moment came on February 17th, deep in the heart of Beaver County, Oklahoma. A spark, its origin still debated, landed in a landscape primed by months of drought and unseasonably warm temperatures. The grass was tinder dry, the air heavy with anticipation, and the land itself seemed to hold its breath. Then, the winds arrived, howling across the plains at speeds that turned a simple fire into a living, breathing monster. Within minutes, flames leapt from one field to the next, devouring everything in their path. The fire didn't just spread, it exploded outward, consuming several football fields every second, leaving behind only scorched earth and thick, choking smoke. As the inferno grew, it became clear that this was no ordinary wildfire. The firestorm surged northward, crossing the border into Kansas with terrifying speed. Firefighters and emergency crews scrambled to respond, but the fire front was simply too wide, too fast, and too unpredictable to contain. It overwhelmed every barrier, every effort to stop it. Even as crews fought the main blaze, embers, carried by relentless winds, traveled miles ahead, igniting new spot fires far beyond the reach of containment lines. These flying embers created a patchwork of chaos, making it impossible to establish safe perimeters or predict where the next outbreak would occur. For families in the fire's path, every second counted. Evacuations became a desperate race against time, as residents grabbed what they could and fled under skies darkened by smoke. Emergency responders worked tirelessly, guiding people to safety, but the fire moved with a will of its own, dictating the terms of escape. By Wednesday evening, the scale of the disaster was undeniable. The Ranger Road fire had already scorched over 100,000 acres, transforming vast stretches of countryside into a blackened wasteland. It was now a historic megafire, one of the largest and most destructive in recent memory. The first day alone revealed just how quickly catastrophe can unfold when nature's most dangerous elements align. In the anatomy of a megafire, every second matters, and every decision can mean the difference between survival and tragedy. The numbers tell the story. By Wednesday night, the Ranger Road fire had consumed over 283,000 acres, nearly twice the size of Chicago. This scar is visible from space, a blackened testament to the fire's appetite. Only 15% contained, hundreds of thousands more acres remain at risk. Entire ecosystems and generations of ranchland have been wiped out, altering the landscape for decades, if not forever. The loss is economic and ecological: sterilized soil, destroyed grazing land, and a blow to the region's identity. Recovery will be slow, and some areas may never return to what they were. For residents, the devastation is personal. The land is part of who they are. The true measure of this fire is not just acreage, but heartbreak. The fire's speed forced thousands to flee with little warning. Towns like Englewood, Ashland, Tyrone, and parts of Woodward became ghost towns as urgent evacuation orders emptied homes and streets. Families packed what they could, leaving behind homes and livelihoods, unsure if they'd ever return. Emergency alerts blared, and law enforcement went door to door, urging people to escape the advancing flames. Shelters filled with displaced residents, their lives upended, and their futures uncertain. For ranchers, the choice was agonizing, leaving behind herds and fields to the fire's mercy. The trauma of evacuation lingers, marking these communities forever. The Plains Inferno has left a deep scar on the hearts of those forced to run. As the smoke clears, the scale of destruction emerges: homes, barns, and vital infrastructure reduced to ashes. In Woodward, a separate fire destroyed key buildings, including 2 at a USDA research facility, crippling local agriculture. Families returned to sift through ruins, searching for remnants of their lives among the debris. The loss is more than material, it's the erasure of memories and stability. The economic impact will ripple for years: lost homes, damaged ranches, and a shrinking tax base. Each destroyed structure is a personal tragedy and a blow to community resilience. The Ranger Road fire has torn at the fabric of rural life, leaving both physical and emotional ruin. Recovery will be a long, uncertain road. Thousands of firefighters have formed a thin line of defense, battling flames and exhaustion in brutal conditions. Their courage is undeniable, but it comes at a cost. At least 8 firefighters have been injured so far. Miraculously, no civilian lives have been lost, thanks to swift evacuations and relentless first responders. The physical and mental toll on crews is immense: long shifts, little sleep, and constant danger. They face destruction most of us can't imagine, making life-or-death decisions every hour. Their sacrifice is both visible and invisible, with wounds that will linger long after the fire is out. Amidst the devastation, their bravery stands as a beacon of hope. We owe them a debt of gratitude as the battle rages on. The Ranger Road Megafire was just one of many blazes that turned the southern plains into a war zone. Fires erupted across Oklahoma and the Texas Panhandle, stretching resources to the breaking point. In Woodward, a separate fire forced more evacuations, while in Texas, the Lavender and 8-Ball fires burned thousands of acres. Each fire demanded a major response, further diluting available crews and equipment. This outbreak was a hallmark of extreme fire weather, an entire landscape ready to ignite. Incident commanders faced a logistical nightmare, with smoke and anxiety spreading for hundreds of miles. The region wasn't just fighting a fire, it was fighting a firestorm. The ferocity of these fires was no accident. It was the result of a perfect storm of weather. Ferocious winds, gusting to hurricane force, acted as a bellows, pushing flames at incredible speed. These winds caused deadly dust storms and crashes, grounded firefighting aircraft, and made containment nearly impossible. The land was primed to burn after one of the warmest, driest winters on record. Critically dry grasses created a bed of tinder. The combination of record heat, drought, and wind created the ultimate fire catastrophe. Warnings had been issued, but the conditions left firefighters with few safe options. As dangerous weather continues, the elements that created this disaster are making it nearly impossible to stop. The southern plains became a landscape ready to ignite at any spark. As the fight against these relentless blazes continues, a bigger, more unsettling question looms over us all. Are we witnessing the birth of a new normal? Is this the world we must now learn to live in, where fire is not just a seasonal threat, but a constant presence shaping our lives and landscapes? The Plains Inferno is not an isolated event. It's a symptom of a planet in flux, a world growing warmer, where wildfires are becoming more frequent, more intense, and more unpredictable. Fueled by climate change, these fires are no longer rare disasters, but recurring crises that threaten communities, wildlife, and the very fabric of our environment. Longer, more severe droughts and record-breaking temperatures mean that Fire seasons now stretch for months, sometimes year-round. The land, once resilient, is now brittle and dry, always teetering on the edge of ignition. Even a single spark can unleash devastation across vast stretches of countryside. Megafires, once rare and mostly confined to dense forests, now erupt in grasslands, farmlands, and even near urban areas. All it takes is the right mix of heat, wind, and drought, and entire regions can be engulfed in flames, threatening lives and livelihoods in an instant. In this new era, we must rethink how we manage our land and prepare for the future. Controlled burns, planting fire-resistant vegetation, and restoring damaged ecosystems are just the beginning. We need to invest in resilience, building stronger communities, supporting first responders, and developing new strategies to adapt to a changing climate. But above all, we must confront the root cause: a warming planet driven by human activity. Firefighters are on the front lines, risking their lives to protect people and property. But even their courage and skill have limits when nature itself is supercharged against them. The scale and intensity of these fires can overwhelm even the best prepared teams, leaving entire regions vulnerable. And when the flames finally die down, the danger isn't over. Burned hillsides can collapse in mudslides, rivers fill with ash, and ecosystems struggle to recover. The scars left behind, on the land and in our communities, can last for years, if not decades. Yet, amid the devastation, there are signs of hope. New growth pushing through the ashes, a reminder that recovery is possible. But it will take time and effort. The time for decisive action is running out. The fire on the horizon is no longer a distant threat. It's at our doorstep. Our choices now will determine whether we can adapt and thrive, or whether we'll be forever living in the shadow of the next inferno.